What up, America? What up, world? Welcome to a Better Black America podcast, the number one urban podcast stateside and worldwide. Today is Friday, May 6, 2022. Now, yesterday, MAGA, however you want to call it, Make America Great Again was trending. And I'm sitting back thinking like, wow, Donald Trump is coming back. But it was trending because Joe Biden had a press conference and they were talking about the Roe versus Wade, the draft that was leaked from the Supreme Court. And they're basically demonizing the Republican Party for doing their jobs. Now, the Democratic Party is starting to show itself. It's falling off at the hinges. And with Joe Biden speaking on this mega crowd and these mega people trying to make another demonization distraction to take things off of the facts. Now, the facts is that the Supreme Court is looking at the Constitution. And while looking at the Constitution, they don't see anything that support abortions on the federal level. So they're making a correction to a living document to basically amend the Constitution. And the world is mad. It's like the activation of the end has happened. Because when you look at war, a civil war, this civil war is going to be in plain sight, a war of images, a war of politics with literally no bloodshed when it comes to the civil aspects of it. Americans are not going to be shooting and being combative with Americans outside of protesting. But in a sense of the change, it's been a very long time. Time is undefeated. God is undefeated. If you study the word of God, it talks about patience as virtuous. It talks about holding on and having faith and fainting not. And the beautiful thing about it is that we all need to be grateful for is to actually be living in these days and times to actually see it coming to fruition, starting to calibrate. The puzzle pieces are starting to fit. It looks like all we got to do is continue to stay strong and focus and literally stand still, let go and let God. When I say let go and let God, meaning there's nothing that we can do from a physical perspective, but look and pay attention. And while we're paying attention, just, try to identify, subtle signs and wonders. Try to identify certain hidden things. Start identifying them. Start reflecting on your life because the change is coming and the change is near because clearly, we're human beings and we trust what we see and we understand what we see. So what we're seeing is a natural evolution of the world evolving back to its original state. And I'm going to say that again. The world is subtly moving towards a corrective position because the truth shall make us free. And we are starting to deal with the truth because you can only tell so many lies. After a while, even a dog can sit back and question what you're talking about. I don't know. Seriously, because what we see, this Roe versus Wade, don't let the heirs and the powers and the influence of the wrong energy and the wrong spirit confuse you. God is not the author of confusion. So if God is not the author of confusion, why do we continue to support a confusion system? To make it simple, if you really want to understand what's going on with Roe versus Wade, meaning the draft that was leaked from the Supreme Court, because they're looking to take abortion and make abortion illegal on a federal level, which basically puts the responsibilities on all 50 states to make decisions and determinations of what they're going to do with their healthcare system, with their Planned Parenthood system. And if you look at things from its original state, the saying that they say a tiger can't change the stripes. Okay. Then Planned Parenthood is what it is. When women sit back and especially, Caucasian women and women of non-color and women just in general say they stand for Planned Parenthood, but they don't know the original state or the purpose of Planned Parenthood. It was for black genocide. It was to genocide and sterilize and stop feeble-minded people. That's the wording that Margaret Sanger used, from reproducing. Now, we know without a shadow of a doubt that we can have conversations of term limits of abortion, first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, that there has to be some type of communication. And it's sad that we as American citizens cannot have a conversation, for the masses and somehow find a way to make sure that it's fair. There has to be some type of negotiation. Now I know without a shadow of a doubt, there's going to be situations and circumstances where a woman can get an abortion, but you can't wait until after the baby shower, 7 months, and then decide. That's literally murder. If that baby's heart is beating on its own, if you get into a car accident and you lose your child, the person who you got into the accident with might be charged with second-degree murder. So if you go abort your child that's breathing and that could actually breathe on their own, you and the doctor is suspect. And we know this is not something that we are supposed to be just, doing, because the right thing to do is to start talking about teenage pregnancy. It's to start talking about contraceptives. It's to start having these conversations too with our daughters. Come on. We're not having no baby. We're not going to be sexually active. We don't want to, put our lives in a different, trajectory. Look at the women that had children out of wedlock. Look at the women that have children, as teenage parents. Look at the women that had children, before they got their college education. Look how they struggled. And if you want to have a conversation with them, talk to them. It looks like it was easy, but it was very hard. And they were basically strong enough to basically have these children and help them and teach them and nurture them. But two is way better than one. And the responsibility has to go on someone, because the confusion part of it is there's debates on who's responsible for a woman getting pregnant. And that's a good topic of discussion to basically see where people's heads at. Because from a girl's perspective, you hold the power. Don't be having sex. Don't be, letting them go in raw dog. Make sure they wear a condom. You do that. And then if he's trying to make sure you don't get pregnant, then the probability of you having a baby, is null and void. But if you're taking these chances and letting lust, don't worry about it. You don't have to wear a condom. Just pull out, then we'll find ourselves in these positions and having to make decisions that we don't want to make. So my point is, we don't have to sit back and be mad and upset because they decided to be mad and upset because the world is speaking and the Supreme Court is basically saying, let's stop killing babies. And they're mad because they know without a shadow of a doubt they have to kill babies to survive, because the babies that they kill fuels their purpose. Why is there not any type of anti-killing killing or anti-murder or anti-defamation league for black community, anti-stop the killing. Where are the activists? Where is the push? Where's the motivation? Where's the resources? Where's the help to stop killing, murdering our boys in the street? It's all a game. It's population control. We don't have to kill them. They'll kill themselves. It's an automatic system. And this is what they call systematic racism, because once you commit a murder and you kill a black man, then you destroyed your life. And then now the judge is eating, the prosecutor eating, the public defender is eating. The state got $90,000 annually for you to basically sit in a jail cell. But they're not willing to run that living wage while you're out on the street. So this is why we got to have these conversations. And it's starting to look like it's a generational thing. It looks like the baby booming generation is pretty much ran into a dead end. And now all they could do is just puff up and get mad because they don't want change. They don't want to see change. And if they do, let's partner up, because the fair and righteous thing to do is to pass the instructions to the next generation, not skip the generation. But if we're in the business of killing babies, if we're in the business of killing all the boys, if we're in the business of mass incarceration, if we're in the business of sterilizing, then clearly by default, we're living in a fraudulent world, in a fraudulent society with fraudulent people in positions of power that should have never, ever been there. And that's right, I said it. Because clearly Joe Biden and Kamala Harris should not be running this country right now. We know that without a shadow of a doubt. So this midterm election, let's have these conversations of basically sitting on the sidelines and letting these two rivaling tribes fight amongst each other or against each other. And we don't support either of the two, because whoever wins, that's the one we're going to negotiate with. This is why we have to be on one united front. This is why they don't want a better Black America platform to blow up. This is why they don't want us in politics. This is why they don't want our generation even in the conversation, because of fear and intimidation. And let's not leave out human error. Now, if you are a failed human, you're flawed. Now, if you're a failed human and you flawed and you still are trying to fight and you still are trying to figure it out because you decided not to faint not and stay in there for the long haul, that's how you win. But if you lost, packed your bags up and accepted defeat, the worst thing you want to see and hear is an ambitious young man, excited, motivated, and encouraged of doing not only the right thing, but God's will. Yeah. And that's what the issue is, because we've been playing for far too long. So this is what I'm saying is, let's not sit back and let the devil think that, they can continue to reign, because there's a changing of the guard. And it's now the moment in time that they feared. The black community is nation building and regime changing. I'm going to say this again. The black community is regime changing and nation building. And our regime change is a clean slate from the two-party system. We don't want to be associated with a Republican Party or a Democratic Party. We want to be associated as a sovereign group of people who love this country, who want to see this country prosper, and who wants to leave their children's an inheritance, meaning a better place than it was when we found it. Because right now, if we do not jump off of the demonic Democratic Party, because we talked about it, this is why we're calling them the demos now. Not short for it's short for Democrat, but demo in Latin and Portuguese is demon, diablo, or devil. And I'm going to say it again. Demo, the root word for Democratic Party in Latin and Portuguese, is demon, diablo, or devil. Fact. And the word crat in the Greek and the word crack in Latin sense, C-R-A-T, means ruled by. Ruled, R-U-L-E-D, by. Ruled by the devil. And the reason they are mad is because the truth is coming out. because they locked up a generation, killed the leaders for that generation. And now our spiritualness is rising. We feel it.